face.
All right, looks like we're ready to head down now to the feature match area here at the Super Sunday Series. And Makihito Mahara's on the right side of your screen there. He's playing against Klaus Grube.
Yeah, he's got that crazy Esper white weenie deck that we're not even sure what to call. It's a nice brew. Soldier of the Pantheon. It definitely has sort of a white weenie shell at the beginning, but then it's splashing for Ifara and, oh, by the way, Obsidian.
Right.
I think it's kind of an Ifara deck, but because of the way the dual lands work, you just get enough black mana to throw in some Obsidians for value. That's my best theory.
That must be it, because when we were reading the list, it's like you go down from the top and it looks a lot
yeah, it's like a white weenie deck
list.
with Liev Sky Knight, Ifara, which is, I mean, cool deck. Speaking of cool decks, the other side, Klaus Gruber is playing mono black aggro. He's playing Painseer. He's playing Herald of Torment, and these guys are very much in the thick of top 8 contention.
Wow, this is a pretty well-timed Thoughtseize as well, as there's two pretty important spells on the other side there.
Yeah, you just take Spear of Heliod.
Spear of Heliod, but there's also Obsidian, which is really, really tough for Klaus to deal with, I'm assuming.
Fair.
Maybe he's got...
It depends how long he thinks the game's going to go. I mean, Mahara's a land short, and if he takes Spear, Mahara just has nothing to do on either of the next couple of turns.
That's right. Unfortunately, Klaus doesn't have any real pressure right now. He does add to that. Yeah, no third land as well. So he must be thinking this is going to go
That was his turn, too. Never mind.
Oh, okay. And there's the Spear for Mahara. And this is going to be a pretty big issue for Klaus as well.
Yeah,
you mentioned it.
I was a little bit surprised that Mahara blocked there. I mean, he guess he doesn't know his opponent is about to play a multicolor card. But I guess Mahara thinks that his hand can't win fast, so he needs to trade and extend the game.
Must be.
But I mean, with Spear about to come down, you'd think that you'd rather have creatures in play than not.
Mutavault's on either side of the table. Klaus is taking a look at another Thoughtseize. He's also got a Mogus's Marauder.
Maybe that's why Mahara wants to trade. He knows about Mogi's Marauder.
Oh, it could be.
I don't know how. I don't know if these guys have not exchanged deck lists, so I'm not sure how much they know about each other's decks. I mean, Mogi's Marauder not a staple card in Standard by any stretch of the imagination, but they're also. I mean, everybody's in the same room, and these guys probably played next to each other at some point yesterday.
And speaking of the devil, there it is, Mogus Marauder. It's going to get haste and get in there for 4 damage total. He can get. I mean, is this what happens here from Mahara's side? Like, does he just start leaning on that Spear? Can he afford to take hits from every, like, one hit from every creature that Klaus plays, as long as he kills that creature right after?
Well, he's also got Mutavault available to block. Like, Mutavault's a 3/3 on defense thanks to the Spear.
All right.
So he's totally brick-walled Gruber right here. Gruber needs Herald of Torment. He needs to fly over to have any. I mean, he can't even get through Mutavault with his 2/2s.
And he's going to Thoughtseize.
Now let's find out what Makihito has drawn the last couple of turns.
So much more interesting than ours.
Mahara's thinking about responding? What does he have to respond with?
I was feeling pretty good.
Ultimate Price.
Ultimate Price, okay.
It's going to go away. He's got planes left over, and...
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he'd rather have untapped mana before this attack phase rather than kill a creature with Ultimate Price.
Yeah.
Seems right. I mean, if the Ultimate Price is he kills the Marauder, but he takes 2, this way he's not going to take any.
Right.
Or he's going to kill both creatures and take 2.
Now the question is, can Klaus interact with Mutavault? And it looks like no.
Yeah, that Plains is not in play yet for Mahara. He's just
hand.
politely leaving the revealed cards face up.
Yep. Plays it now and just says go. Now he's in a nice spot. He can not only activate Mutavault, but also has that Spear available just in case something sneaks through here. Haven't seen a lot of Spear of Heliod in Standard yet, but you got to figure it's going to be around.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, there's Herald of Torment. This is the way you get around Mutavault. You fly over it.
That's right.
So Gruber's going to smack in for 5, which, yeah, Mahara will, of course, kill the Cackler with the Spear, but the Herald just falls off. He's ready to go back in next turn.
That's right. And, I mean, if Klaus can just keep hammering in there for big chunks of damage at a time, it feels like Mahara's going to fall behind. Of course, he doesn't have much else going on. He's got one unknown card in his hand.
Yeah, a couple of Thoughtseizes. Mahara's just, all the gas has been stripped out of his hand except that Spear.
Yeah. More white bordered swamps there for Klaus. What is this, a thing now?
Apparently.
It's driving me nuts, Randy.
The white bordered
I
basics.
can't take it. Yeah,
I don't know. At least Owens or Portal 3 Kingdoms, where they're kind of
foreign language. Yeah.
Hard to get. They might. I don't have no idea what a Portal 3 Kingdom swamp costs, but these are just 7th edition, 6th. No, not 6th. Maybe.
And it looks like Klaus has hit the brakes here. He's like, huh? I can't just throw away my Torment for 3 damage, and it wouldn't have worked anyway. Yeah, ultimate price takes it down. All right, Makihita Mahara. He's ranked 13th in the world currently, and he finds a Liev Sky Knight here.
Yeah, basically just a 3/1 flyer. The detainability is not super relevant here because that Marauder wasn't going to attack anyway.
That's right.
But hey, 3/1 flyer's a clock.
It is.
Yeah, Mahara, 31 years old. He's from Chiba-ken, Japan. A lot of accomplishments on his resume. Lists Counterspell as his favorite Magic card of all time.
A classic.
Fine card. Favorite limited format ever? Cube Draft.
Oh, jeez. Mahara has great taste, it seems.
I agree.
All right, Klaus Grube. Wow.
Lifebane Zombie.
Lifebane Zombie. That could be quite good against Mahara, though. And that's main deck as well. So
true.
Those
yeah,
aren't
good
going
card in the
anywhere.
matchup. Here, it's just going to deal 3 and then get killed by a spear. But
right.
Klaus Gruber on the other side of the table, 23 years old, from Bremen, Germany. Been playing about 7 years, and lists this as probably his greatest Magic accomplishment.
Cool.
Being here. He's got some, PTQ top 8, some GP caches, but nothing too fancy. That's his quote, nothing too fancy.
That's what he said. All right.
Detention Sphere means Lifebane's not even going to get in for 3. His favorite Magic card, Lightning Bolt.
Another classic.
Yeah. I'm on the counterspell side of that fight, but what are you going to do? Although the favorite limited format, Rise of the Eldrazi draft, I definitely approve of that.
Another man of good taste, I see. Except for his basic land choice, of course. Mahara, interestingly, he's not letting Klaus build up a board state where Klaus can get in for a big hit of damage and kind of work around that spear. He's managing
good point.
to keep him
He's
at
just
one
picking
threat.
him off one at a time.
Yeah.
That's a real good point. And then Sky Knight's chipping away. Okay, so is that something enchanted by Herald?
Yeah, that's the Mogis.
Oh, the Mogis Marauder got
enchanted
enchanted
has
by
a
the
Herald on
sure.
it.
So it heads to the air and comes over for 5. Mahara is going to kill it with the spear, but he's got to be getting scared of that life total.
He is. Spear of Heliod, of course, shines against, bigger threats that...
Oh, Mahara's also lining up a counterattack here. If he doesn't kill the Marauder, then the Herald is not a blocker. But now, because he killed the Marauder, Herald's available as a untapped 3/3 blocker. He was looking at Mutavault plus Skynet. He actually has lethal damage.
Yeah, he does, but he decided not to go for it.
It's because Gruber has a Mutavault.
Okay.
That can block, so
you could just jump in.
Gruber can chump the Mutavault with the smaller Mutavault, take 4, and then crack back for lethal. So Mahara did kill the with Farah. That is how close to being turned on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 away.
Yeah, it's 1 away.
And Sky Knight played defense here. It's on. Detention Sphere.
Where's Detention Sphere? Oh yeah, right there. So it's actually a 6/5 indestructible creature here.
Wow. And yeah, now Mahara left Sky Knight on defense. He's going to block that Herald. He does not want to go down to 1.
That's right.
Yeah, 1 makes any Mogis Marauder shenanigans lethal. Actually, Marauder shenanigans are lethal anyway.
Intimidate gets there.
Right.
Cards.
I guess Oh, this way he doesn't lose to Bestow. He's got to be, if anything got bestowed onto the Herald, he would regret not having a blocker. I guess he just feels like with Afara turned on, he wants to play it safe.
Yeah. Afara's lethal.
Right.
7 power in this case.
Activate Unicorn. Go to 10. Go.
These guys are both 4 and 2. So I mean, I think if the tournament had already cut to top 8, I believe they would both have been in the top 8.
Okay.
Mahara was 7th. I forget where Gruber was, but he was right about some of the 4-2s would have gotten in if the tournament had ended. Some would not. The line everyone's expecting is some of the X3s get in, but not all.
All right. So Mutavault's going to get activated here, and is he lining up more Herald of Torment.
Oh,
Could this be
my.
the third one?
Wow.
Wow.
Mahara is very happy he played it safe.
He certainly is.
He's got Sky Knight available to chump the giant one, and then he'll take 3.
Now, Klaus did lose a life on his upkeep, right? From his Herald. I don't remember if he actually did. It might not matter here, but it is something they have to consider.
Yeah, all right. Sky Knight chumps. Or is that even a chump? It is a chump, right?
It is a chump.
Right.
It's a 5/5.
5/5 flyer. And it's a 4-power Sky Knight.
That's
so
right.
the other Herald gets in for 3, dropping Makihito to 1. He's got the spear available, so he can kill the.
Yeah. Now that other Herald is going to fall off the Mutavault, right, on end step and just.
Oh, is that
be a
how it works?
creature.
Yeah,
I
that makes
think
sense.
so. Yeah, because
It's got to be how it works.
Yeah, because it can't enchant a land as an aura. It's an
Wow,
enchant creature.
so that's pretty nice, actually. That means Gruber does have a blocker.
Yeah.
Because now Makihito's trying to figure out, does he actually want to kill the Herald? I mean, if Gruber had no blockers, he could just attack for the win. But because the Herald's going to fall off Mutavault and Gruber's going to have 1 blocker, then he
Now,
gets to survive
interestingly,
this
though,
attack.
remember Klaus is if he does untap with the 2 Heralds.
Kill the Herald. Yeah,
Those both ping him on his upkeep.
yeah,
too.
but it was one would have chump blocked Afara. Like he
Right.
has to chump block Afara.
Right.
Wait, nope, Afara was turned off. That's what happened. Being forced to
Right.
chump block with the Sky Knight meant Afara was no longer enabled. Wow. Klaus
And
Gruber with
Mahara
Herald of
scoops him up.
Torment.
Wow, that's kind of insane.
Steals a game.
3 of them too.
Jeez, 3 Heralds of Torment just got it done through Spear of Heliod.
Man, let's take a look at Klaus's deck
Absolutely.
list here.
Man, Herald was insane that
It
game.
was insane, yeah.
I thought Mahara had it the whole time.
Me too. I really like that putting on the Mutavault play so you get the blocker too.
Yeah, no, I did not see that coming.
That's
That's
pretty
really
sweet.
smart. Let him get in the attack, and then Mutavault deactivates, so Herald falls off and becomes the blocker he needed.
Right.
Turns out, I mean, he's also turning off Afara, so.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, crazy.
So, Klaus's deck, you can take a look at the list here. Some of the staples we've seen quite a bit of: Thoughtseize,
Yeah, I mean, it's a Thoughtseize Pack Rat deck,
Pack Rat, right?
but it's much more aggressive than the Black Devotion decks we've seen running around in Standard for the last 3-4 months.
That's right.
Curve tops out at 3. There's nothing more expensive than the Lifebane Zombies or Mogacy's Marauders or Heralds of Torment. And that means you get to run Painseer.
Right.
And in a format where, I mean, certainly today there's been a bunch of control decks floating around. Azorius was the second most played deck, one of the 2 decks that were played significantly. Painseer seems really good against them, that's
Yes,
for sure.
for sure.
And I mean, it's a 2/2 little beater anyway, totally fits your plan.
Yeah, and Herald of Torment really is a big swing. I mean, if you use the Bestow ability, you end up getting in for a big chunk of
Right.
damage and then forcing your opponent to deal with the creature
Right,
that
deal
it's
with my
bestowed
giant hasty flyer.
Yeah,
essentially.
basically, right.
And then after you do that, I've still got a 3/3 flyer.
Right, which does big chunks of damage. It really does.
It certainly did that game.
Yeah.
Wow, that was impressive.
That was impressive. I really like the build here as well, where you can play Painseers and still have Herald of Torments in the deck, and they can act as a 5-drop sometimes, even though they only have 3 mana symbols in their actual casting cost, and that's pretty cool.
Let's take a look at Mahara's deck, because this one is also sweet.
I think his deck is awesome. It's weird when you look at it, though, because when you look at the
Yes.
list, you're like Soldier of the Pantheon, Opposing Sovereign, Precinct Captain, and Burmaz. It's like,
That
oh
all
yeah,
makes
White
sense.
Weenie. I've played that. I've seen
Right.
that before. And then you're like, oh, you have Sky Knight and Afara. That's cool. And, you know,
Right.
even a Heliod. And then you're like, wait a second, Obzidot. Where did that come from? Like, just double black mana symbol out of nowhere. But then you can see where it goes from there. A couple of ultimate prices, so more, you know, black spells, a couple of far and aways. The detention spheres, it's hard to imagine running Afara, God of the
Yeah,
Polis, and not running
Detention
Detention
Sphere
Sphere.
seems spectacular with Afara. Like
And then-
if your removal is turning on your god, that's just awesome. Like you
That's
saw some of the
insane.
Blue Devotion decks trying out Claustrophobia just to try to get, I want removal, but I also want Devotion. So.
Right. And then you've got
Detention Sphere, slightly better than Claustrophobia.
yes, indeed. Spear of Heliod and 1 whip.
Right. 2 spears and a whip. Just
2 spears and a whip.
This deck is got some tech.
It does indeed. He's also even got a couple of Mutavaults floating around. In
Yeah,
that,
I mean, you
very
wonder
mana
if
base.
the blue-white version, like, you lose Obzidot, you lose Ultimate Price, but your mana gets a lot better. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting question. I mean, Obzidot is super powerful.
Super powerful.
I mean, if it hadn't gotten duressed out of his hand here, it would have won this game
That's
before
right.
the Heralds had time to fly over through the spear.
Totally.
So, I mean, maybe Obzidot's worth the splash, maybe not.
Could be.
Now, are there any Blood Barons in that list?
Didn't see any in the main.
Put that list back up again real quick. No, there's none in the main. Sideboard. 2
No.
Blood Barons on the board.
There it
okay.
is. Yep, Blood Baron of Vizkopa times 2. That's interesting, because that one you'd think you could splash, right? You could throw that in
It's
the
a lot
main
easier
and
to
be
right.
like,
That
yeah.
one is only 1 black mana,
Right.
and that's the one most people seem to think is awesome in this metagame. I guess a lot of it comes down to what's the new standard metagame,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. What's Bile Blight world
Pre-born
look
of
like?
the pre-born of the gods, Blood Baron was better than Obsidian,
Mm-hmm.
but don't know what's going to happen now.
All right, so Soldier of the Pantheon and Tormented Hero are good turn 1 plays from both players. Mahara has Temple of Enlightenment and is tanked out on the scry. He's going to leave it on top, and he's going to battle for 2. Let's see what Klaus has for his turn. Ooh, he draws a Thoughtseize off the top. Looks like he's a little landlight, perhaps. He's got a Mutavault there. He did. All right, looks like Klaus really tanked out the keep here, and wow, he's just going to slam a Pack Rat.
Does his hand stop at 2 lands? Is that what's going on? No, I see a white border.
Do you see a land in there? Okay. Oh, yeah,
Hey,
right.
thank goodness they're white bordered. Makes them very easy to see.
Yeah. Klaus won.
You weren't in the booth.
Coverage.
I was talking to Ian Duke about this yesterday when you weren't in the booth, and that was his. He was like, "Yeah, Reed and I played white bordered swamps in a land tax deck because it just made them easier to find."
Yeah, and you're constantly sifting through your deck.
Like,
Okay.
all right, I guess.
Fair enough.
Maybe.
Curse you, Ian Duke, and your logic.
I still would not have done it, but
Wow, that's a stacked hand. Dark Betrayal, Blood Baron, Obsidian, and unfortunately, well, I guess he could have cast it. That's a Hallowed Fountain, but he decided not to. A Detention Sphere there.
well, I mean, once other than getting a Thoughtseize, it makes sense to wait and Detention Sphere multiple cards, right?
Yeah, I mean, Pack Rat obviously is an issue.
He has no black mana.
Like you mentioned.
Right, but so Detention Sphere is such a good pack rat answer, and you're going to let them pour a card or 2 into it and
Exactly.
then scoop them all up. I think that was Mahara's plan here.
Yeah.
That's better than pay 2 life, Detention Sphere just 1.
Yeah, it is, unless this happens.
Right, but I mean, what are the odds the guy's going to Thoughtseize you on turn 3? I mean, I guess he spent all his mana every turn. So.
He did, yeah. I don't know what the odds are, but that's interesting.
I mean, most people clear a path before they play the pack rat. Although, I don't know if Gruber was expecting Dark Betrayal. He probably thinks he's playing against mostly a white-blue deck, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that he saw... Well, he dressed an Obsidian in the first game.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, Thoughtseize an Obsidian.
Yep.
I don't know. Tricky little line of play here. I would gotta think you take Detention Sphere, though.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at the board, if he wants to just move
Yeah,
in
you
with
take
Pack Rat.
Detention Sphere and you move in on Pack Rat, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, the hard part for him, like you should let him keep Obsidian because he doesn't have any black
Yeah,
mana
exactly.
available. But Blood Baron's an issue down the
Yeah,
line
I would
as
take Blood
well.
Baron before Obsidian, I think.
Right.
I mean, in this matchup, Blood Baron's better, isn't it? Seems like the it's protected
Yes,
from
for
Gruber's
sure.
entire
It's
deck.
much better.
Like
it's much
the
better.
mono black decks are
Yeah.
part of the reason Blood Baron took over from
Yeah,
Obsidian.
he plays Obsidian. You can draw Hero's Downfall or something.
Wow, he attacks Pack Rat into Soul. Oh, because he had another Pack Rat. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and Mahara probably expected it. He's like, you're gonna let me trade for 1 Pack Rat? And Mahara's got to say yes.
So why
And
would he
there's black
trade?
mana.
Why does he trade off the Pack Rat anyway, though?
Rather than just not attack with it.
Yeah, just like play another Pack Rat, and the next turn you've got 3/3s that can go by the Soldier anyway. Is the
I
Soldier
think
an
it's
issue,
because,
or?
well, no, it's the only aggressive thing Mahara's got going on. By playing it this way, Gruber makes sure he has time for his Pack Rats to get ridiculous.
Okay.
Right, he's not being attacked back for anything.
Okay.
I mean, and the Soldier does. I mean, it blanks any Rakdos Cacklers that he might draw. He does have Rakdos Cackler in his hand.
Okay. So he just wants to clear the way.
I mean, I don't know that he's going to play the Cackler. I think it seems like he would just sink it into turn it into a rat. But although here we go, the way this draw plays out, he's got. No, he doesn't. Okay.
So that's a 3-power rat.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Blood Baron comes down. Yeah, Mahara top decked the black mana last turn.
He did. And now Klaus Gruber has some big issues here as Blood Baron of Vizkopa is going to put a beating down.
He's got Mahara to
But
7, though.
He's got him to 7.
Does he have Devour Flesh in his hand?
If he has Devour Flesh, that should be game.
Wow.
He has Devour Flesh. That's going to bump Mahara back up to 11.
That's fine.
But yeah, that's not a big deal
It's
at all.
just like, how much do these rats hit for? He powers up Mutavaults to make him 3s, so 3, 6, 7, 8, that's 10. Yeah, he hits him, I think he hits him for 10 right here.
Yeah.
I don't know how Mahara recovers from this. Klaus Gruber. Wow. And Mahara is not eliminated from the tournament with this loss, but he is definitely back against the wall. He'll have to go win, and then cross his fingers and hope his breakers are good enough.
That's right. All right, so here's Mahara's draw step. This has got to be something absolutely backbreaking. Scryland is not the backbreaker that Mahara wanted.
It's the second black mana for Obsidian, but it's too slow. Brimaz. Can block, can create a blocker. That does not look good enough to me.
No.
Like, even if he's got a 2-mana removal spell, which I'm not sure he has had enough draw phases to accumulate since we last saw his hand.
Yeah.
He's got to remember to activate that Mutavault.
Yeah. You just, activate Mutavault, bring the team, right? He can even make a rat and take down Brimaz if that blocks. What's the best thing Mahara could have? It's like a 2-mana removal spell.
That's what Klaus is thinking, but man, it's
like,
tough when you're facing
that would
down
kill one
5-time
rat.
Pro Tour top 8 competitor Mahara here.
Yeah, even if you give him a removal, he has to remove 2 attackers if
Right.
Gruber goes all in. Yeah, Mahara's just trying to mind trick his opponent to that. Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
There's the handshake. Deep sigh from Klaus Gruber. Look at that. That's the sit-up, deep sigh. Wow, I just beat Makihito Mahara.
Oh, kidding.
5 and 2. I could make this top 8. Wow.
Mahara looks to the side like, oh, man.
What did I lose to? There I had that first game. Spear of Heliod.
Wow, that was a good one. Now, what do we have going on our back match? We're going to move over
we'll
to
move to the back table.
All right,
there's what they're playing for.
Yep.
$6,000 for first, $20,000 total spread out amongst the top 16, and both those guys, even Mahara, is still in decent shape. I don't know about decent shape. He's 4 and 3. And there's only 39 people here, so almost half the 16, almost half the field will make a little bit of money.
Right.
And everybody walks away with at least a box of cards.
Right.
So yeah, Mahara at 4-3 needs to win-win. Gruber, he's thinking, hey, win, draw, that might be good enough.
He seems pretty comfortable with the deck. It has all the tools that it needs. He knows that.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly won some matches yesterday. He just beat Makihito Mahara today. Interesting.
I like pairing Thoughtseize with aggression. You know, clearing away for just those few key spells and just keeping some type of pressure up is a pretty proven formula. Here's how you can join everybody here
next year.
Yeah, at the Super Sunday Series Championship. It's pretty straightforward. Go to a Grand Prix. If you don't make day 2, you can compete in a Super Sunday Series event at that Grand Prix. The hard part is you have to win it.
Yep.
You do have to win the whole event. There's 1 seat per Super Sunday Series qualifier.
1 seat per GP.
But if you do, you get flown out to Seattle, where we're at now. We're just south of Seattle in Renton, and you get put up in a hotel. You get to compete in the Super Sunday Series Championship, which we're watching right now. And prize pool's $20,000. We just showed you guys what the prize breakdown looks like, and it's also just a sweet trip. I mean, everybody's drafting and having fun. Went out to dinner last night.
Yeah, they rented out the top floor of a restaurant. They had the booster packs were flowing.
Yeah.
I lost my draft. It
Did
was very
you?
sad.
I won mine.
I was actually kind of happy I lost the first round because it meant I beat the snow home. Like, I just barely got home.
You probably played correctly.
Yeah, if
I won my draft and did not beat the snow home.
Yeah,
I
you crashed at the hotel, right?
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at Dave Shields. He's sitting at 3-1-1 versus Owen Turtenwald, currently ranked 12th on our top 25 pro rankings. Owen's on mono black.
Shocking.
If you follow coverage in any capacity, you know that Owen is quite the master with this deck.
He basically took the deck, put in 4 Bioblights in place of 4 of the previous removal spells, and he used to run 4 Devour Flesh, 2 Farika's Cure, and now he's 4 Bioblight, 2 Devour Flesh.
There we go.
And that's basically all he's done. Couple Drown in Sorrow in the sideboard. So kind of the expected tweaks to the mono black deck that Owen has played so masterfully over the last couple of months.
Yep, won a GP with it.
Yep. He's 4-2, so same situation as our last match. These guys want to go, well, Owen wants to go 2-1. Shields, because he's already got, well, I think Shields is 3-2-1, by the way. I think that record is wrong. Shields is below Turtenwald, if I'm not mistaken. And so he needs to go 3-0.
Okay.
He needs to go 3-0 to get to X2-1.
Shields is playing blue-white with a little bit of red. He actually has a lot of red lands.
Yeah, this is
for a couple of sideboard cards and for
Counterflux is the big thing he gets here. This is what a couple of the Channel Fireball guys did this at Vancouver. They said, we can stick some red mana in the deck almost for free, and then dissolves turn into counterfluxes, which means in the matchup against the other Azorius control decks, because at its heart this is just a blue-white control deck. But in that mirror match now, counterflux is insane. Like there's only you have as many counterfluxes as they have victory conditions.
That's right.
So you don't have to fight over the card drawing. You just fight over the victory conditions with your uncounterable counterspell.
Now Owen attacked for 1 with his Pack Rat. Did not.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get blown out by Detention Sphere or Supreme Verdict, so he'll play it a little slow. And yeah, see, he gets paid off. Shields doesn't want to take 9 next turn, right? If Owen goes end step, make a rat, my turn, make a rat, and hits for 9,
right?
Shields just like, look, my mana curve says this is the turn to play Detention Sphere, I'll do it. And super smart for Owen. He's just up a card.
He's up a card off of that, yeah.
That card wasn't worth getting in 1 extra damage.
That's right. Dave Shields has assembled a Legion.
And wow, I feel like Owen just stuck his hand up Shields' back and puppeted him. I want you to tap out for Detention Sphere, and then I'm going to stick this Underworld Connections.
Yeah. Now, Dave Shields has another Detention Sphere in his hand that he can fire off here. But as we talked about yesterday, Owen's going to get a card back off of Underworld Connections. So he's made sure to set the situation up such that he can activate that.
Yeah, he basically did nothing on his 3-mana turn.
And it looks like Dave Shields wants to fight the card advantage fight, and Jace is a reasonable tool to do that. He sees Divination in a couple of lands. Owen's deciding how he wants to split
Probably Divination or land.
He needs the lands, though. He needs a red mana source to stick that Assemble the Legion in his hand. He's got
right.
two
That's
of
the
them.
Other thing you get with the red mana. Is you get Assemble the Legion for this matchup.
That's right.
Those are the 2 tweaks. Red mana gives you Counterflux for the mirror, and it gives you Assemble the Legions for the black matchup. Those 2 lands did not provide red, though.
They did not. So he shipped them to the bottom and kept Divination to probably try to find that land next turn.
So, Shields has basic lands I can approve of, by the way. I'm looking. Those are some nice sort of...
Oh, yeah.
Those are APAC promos. They're Guru lands. I mean, those
Not Guru lands, yeah. Those are the APAC
The APAC
ones.
promos.
Yeah. So...
Erebos added for
Erebos for Owen Trentonwald. He kind of has an embarrassment of riches when it comes to long game card drawing here. He doesn't have any pressure currently, though. Erebos... he's already at 3 mana symbols, and that thing can get active pretty quick. I know Owen has a Grey Merchant of Asphodel in his hand as well, which can get that moving in the right direction. Dave Shields is in a bit of an awkward spot here. Having missed that land drop last turn, he did draw one this turn, but still doesn't have red, and he can't play Divination and a 3-drop in this turn. I'm sure he'd like to get that Detention Sphere on something this turn, but he really does need to find red if he wants to start moving this game towards actually winning.
Well, he's going to play Hallowed Fountain untapped, so paid 3 life.
All right, looks like he has a 2-mana spell. Is that a Revoke Existence?
Do you get Detention Sphere and Revoke Existence?
I think so.
That's a good turn.
That's a nice turn.
All right, Detention Sphere takes Underworld Connections. Owen will, of course, respond by drawing a card. And here's a new one. Revoke
a new old one.
Existence.
Wow, and then plus Jace. So a solid turn there for Dave Shields.
Yeah, that was a great turn.
And he hit his land drop, too, naturally. He just drew it.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't red mana, so it wasn't the perfect turn, but it was quite good for him.
No, I did not. I mean, Owen's not used to somebody being able to deal with both Erebos and Underworld Connections with 5 mana.
Yeah.
Like, that just wasn't really possible in these lists before Revoke Existence.
So big swing there for Dave Shields, but as we know, Owen has a grip of cards here. He's got like 6 cards in hand, so this is not... He's going to be able to fight back pretty strongly here. The question is, what angles does he want to hit? I mean, he's got a couple of Night Veil Specters floating around. He's also just got a Pack Rat, so he's going to keep his threats compact. All right, there's a red mana source. Unfortunately, it comes into play tap, but good enough.
Divination this turn, right?
You probably Divination this turn.
Is that 2 Assemble the Legions in his hand?
It is 2 of them, yeah, which is really nice, because if he gets Thought Seized, he'll have a way to cope.
And, of course, you Jace before you play the land, so Owen doesn't know that red mana is irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, Owen might be living in fear of... But he's like Jace or lands.
Yeah.
I don't know that actually affected the split. But it's one of those where it's like, there's no reason to give your opponent information about the land you drew before you draw cards with Jace.
That's right. Interesting decision here for Dave Shields, as it looks like Jace will probably bite it And that means it would be nice to have a backup one, but he also has Sphinx's Revelation in his hand. And hitting continual land drops is pretty strong when you've got that. So, yeah, I mean he can play his divination, and he can play his Scryland first and get some info about what's on top of his library. Now it looks like he's going to play divination first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does it? Don't you scry first to see what's there? All right, he's going to scry now though, and
yeah.
You see 3 cards this way guaranteed? Okay, yeah, that's true. And
Owen's going to make a rat.
He's going to make a rat. Whoa, that's a nice rat token. And duress you.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And that
Although 2 Assembled Allegiance is not what Owen wants to see here.
No, I mean, Dave Shields' hand is really quite bad for Owen. I mean, this
Sphinx's Revelation is the the normal thing you're doing with your duresses is making sure they don't get to big Sphinx's Revelation. But he sees 2 Assembled Allegiance, which are enormous threats against him.
That's right. And even that divination's pretty annoying for Owen as well. I mean, it just keeps momentum going for Dave and finds him his next Sphinx's Revelation. I mean, it really only takes 1. Now, this is just a tough spot.
Yeah, I wonder if Owen has any additional hand disruption.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in Owen's hand. I mean, he's got a grip because he kept getting an extra card off that connections.
Yeah.
Like if he had an extra one, then he could think about assemble.
Yeah, but then
and then cross his fingers that the Rev doesn't beat him.
Yeah.
The thing is,
good luck with that.
Well, he's not likely to Revelation into an assembled
That's
Allegiance.
true.
There's 2 of them in the graveyard.
Probably the only 2. So that's a good point.
Might have 3 in the board, but no, fully 4 in the board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which Owen knows because I mean it's his buddies who built this deck.
Okay.
And yeah, they were just like, we know what we need to beat. We need to beat Black Devotion. We need to beat Azorius Control. All right, he takes Sphinx's Revelation.
No, he took Supreme Verdict.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. He takes Supreme.
So he's on the pack rat plan here. Let's see if he's got another Thoughtseize or something like that.
So he basically says, I need to race Assembled Legion with rat tokens.
Which is absolutely possible.
Yeah.
Assembled Legion takes a while to really get moving. Once it does, the game ends. But
that is fair. Here's another Erebos.
And there's an Erebos as well.
Which turns off the life gain from Sphinx's Revelation, which is pretty relevant.
Yeah, indeed. So this
makes
is
it a lot
easier.
So Owen's got a plan. Yeah. He's like, your hand is full of gas, but here's my plan.
Yep.
Turn off the life gain from Sphinx's Revelation. You want to spend your turn drawing cards, I can live with that. Because he's basically saying, Shields, your hand is a little slow.
Yep.
I can outrace and assemble the legions with these pack rats. I can outrace a Sphinx's Revelation that doesn't draw any life with these pack rats.
Yeah, and he can. I mean, remember the pack rat's mana symbols count towards Erebos as well. He's got a Mutavault that he can activate to pump the rats as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. He chose to play Erebos there instead of a pack rat. Well, basically, because he has to turn off, turning off the life gain from Sphinx's Revelation is, I think, the reason you do that.
Yeah, also, he's going to get Erebos active
Not next
quickly
turn,
here.
though.
He could.
It'll take 2, well...
If he plays a land, right?
Well, play a land and 2 rats. Yeah, land. Does he have enough cards in his hand to do that? Land and 2 rats would do it.
Yeah.
That is a good line. Yeah, if he goes land, rat, attack with a pair of 4/4s and an Erebos. That line, that
13,
works.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, I looked at Shields' handful of gas on that duress, and it was like, how do you navigate all of those goodies?
And it looks like Shields just has to pass a turn.
Yeah, he's gonna try to rev into a Supreme Verdict.
That's exactly what he's gonna do.
Does Owen have a land so that he can go 2 rats, turn everybody on?
This is also where another piece of hand disruption for Owen would be pretty backbreaking because Dave can respond with.
Yeah, Dave either lets it resolve and loses his rev, or what he'd actually do is respond with the rev, but then he'd have to draw 2 Supreme Verdicts to get one through the duress.
So,
but Owen, that's tricky.
This is a game 3 here, and this is an important one.
Game 3, and both of these guys need a win to sort of stay on track. They were both below the top 8 coming in this morning, but in contention. Duress would, of course, take away the ability to turn on Erebos. Unless he went he could go Duress Grey Merchant and turn on Erebos.
Yep.
If he has a land. I haven't seen a land yet.
I have also not seen a land yet, but Owen is...
He could also
really thinking about this turn before he does anything here.
Yeah, that makes me think he probably doesn't have a land. Because if he had a land, the rat hit you for, what is that, 14, 13?
Dave has one unknown card to Owen.
Night Veil Spectre.
That turns on Erebos.
Okay, that turns on Erebos, and now he can also activate Mutavault the way this works.
Yes.
Activate Mutavault. That's 3, 6, 7, 8, and then Erebos. Erebos is 5 power, is that right?
It's 5, yeah.
So this is 13 damage, if I'm not mistaken?
3, 6,
5,
13, yeah.
Yeah, which puts shields down to 2, where
it does.
even a Supreme Verdict would not be good enough, because Mutavault can get in for the last 2.
1, 2, and there is not a Supreme Verdict out of those top 3 cards of Dave Shields' library.
Yeah, so that Sphinx's Revelation does not gain him the life.
does
Right, our
not.
scorekeeper missed the Erebos interaction that
Right.
Owen has built this plan around.
Wow, and I think
Island.
Owen has really...
Divination
Dave
is-
has a divination here.
Yeah, but I mean, even Supreme Verdict isn't good enough because of the Mutavault.
No, it's not. And especially because that's going to completely tap out Dave. Dave has a
Wow,
Mutavault
this
in
is
his
good
hand, but
magic.
he needs another land. This is
This
fantastic
has been
stuff.
fantastic. You want to learn how to play Black Devotion? Follow Owen Turtenwald around.
No kidding. Divination, and I think he did hit
He hit the verdict,
but it just won't
Owen
matter.
got him to 2. What a perfect line.
Wow, unbelievable. Great stuff from Owen. Dave Shields, I feel for him. I've played
Yes.
a deck similar to his, and it's just like he seemed to have such a great grip.
He's splashing a color in order to get the perfect sideboard card for this matchup. He drew it. Still not good enough.
Not good enough.
He's got 10 cards in his hand or something. Not good enough.
Erebos doing serious work here, representing 5 damage on Owen's side, and also turning it down. And and you heard him say it. He said, "I'm a mana short." He could have had his Mutavault active, but he needed another land. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Wow. So Owen Turtenwald improves
to 5-2.
5-2 and putting himself in a good position. Remember, guys.